Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. If your Samsung dishwasher won't start and those buttons just won't respond, you're in the right place. In the next 15 minutes, I'll walk you through 6 proven solutions that fix this problem 95% of the time, most without spending a dime or calling a repair technician. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group, links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so here's what's actually happening behind the scenes when your Samsung dishwasher won't start. Most people think the main control board is fried or the motor's dead, but honestly, that's not usually the case. What we're really dealing with is safety features doing their job, mechanical parts wearing out, or moisture getting where it shouldn't be. Real world breakdown, about 40% of the time, it's just a setting that got activated accidentally. 30% is door latch problems, and the rest splits between touchpad issues, leak sensors acting up, and actual control board failures. Here's the key: we're going to diagnose in probability order, not in parts shopping order. Think in layers. Safety systems first, mechanical parts second, electrical components last. This way, you're not throwing money at the wrong problem. So the most common culprit, and this happens way more than you'd think, is that child lock or delay start got turned on without you realizing it. I had this customer last month call me in a panic because her dishwasher was completely dead. Turns out her 3-year-old had been playing with the buttons while she wasn't looking. Here's how you know this is your problem. Look for a padlock icon on the display, or maybe you see a number showing hours for delay start. The buttons will either be completely unresponsive or the unit beeps at you when you try to start it. Here's the fix that takes less than 30 seconds. No tools needed. Look for the unlock sequence on your control panel or in your manual. On most Samsung models, hold the heated dry or sanitize button for exactly 3 seconds. You'll hear a confirmation beep and watch that padlock icon disappear. If you don't have your manual handy, I've put the most common unlock combinations in the description below. If the lock stays on even after doing the reset procedure correctly, that usually means you've got a stuck button or a short in the touchpad. Door latch issues are huge with Samsung dishwashers. Here's what happens: the plastic latch prongs wear out over time, or the strike plate gets misaligned, and suddenly your dishwasher won't start even though it powers on fine. The dead giveaway is the unit beeps when you hit start, but nothing happens. Another telltale sign: you don't hear that solid click when you close the door anymore. I remember this guy who called me because his dishwasher wouldn't start. He'd been slamming the door harder and harder trying to get it to work. Don't do that. You'll just break the plastic latch prongs and turn a simple adjustment into a parts replacement. If you've got a multimeter, you can test the door switch for continuity, should read near 0 ohms when the latch is engaged. The fix typically requires replacing the entire door latch assembly. Expect to spend $60 to $80 for the part. This is a 30-45 minute DIY job if you're comfortable using a Torx screwdriver set and working with small plastic clips. You'll need T15 and T20 Torx bits specifically. Always disconnect power at the breaker before starting any repair work. Moisture is the enemy of touchpads, and Samsung dishwashers have this design flaw where steam can work its way into the control panel over time. Here's how you know you've got touchpad problems. Some buttons work, others don't. Maybe the power button works fine, but the start button is dead, or you get random beeping like the dishwasher thinks you're pressing buttons when you're not. I had this lady who swore her dishwasher was haunted because it kept beeping in the middle of the night. Turns out the touchpad had moisture damage and was registering phantom button presses. The ribbon cable that connects the touchpad can also corrode from all that steam and moisture. The fix is replacing the touchpad assembly, which runs about 100 to 160. If you're comfortable with adhesive components and delicate ribbon cables, it's doable. Otherwise, this might be where you call someone like me. The leak sensor in these Samsung dishwashers is super sensitive, sometimes too sensitive. When it detects moisture in the base pan, it throws an LC or LE code and locks the unit into drain only mode. Your dishwasher will just keep draining and draining but won't start a wash cycle. Here's the thing: it might not even be a real leak. I've seen this triggered by high humidity using regular dish soap instead of dishwasher detergent, or even just condensation buildup. This guy called me because his dishwasher wouldn't stop draining. Turned out his wife had used Dawn dish soap and the suds triggered the leak sensor. Here's your step-by-step fix. First, unplug the dishwasher for safety. Remove the kick plate at the bottom. It usually just pops off or has 2 screws. Check the base pan for any standing water and dry it completely with towels. Plug the unit back in and run a test cycle. If the error returns within 24 hours, you'll need to locate and fix an actual leak. Now we get to the main control board, the brain of the operation. This is what everyone thinks is broken, but it's actually one of the less common causes. Here's when you know it's really the board. The unit is completely dead even though you've got power at the outlet, or the dishwasher fills with water but the wash motor never starts. You might see visible burn marks or swollen capacitors on the board. The control board runs about 150 to 250, and most of the time it's plug and play. Just transfer the wire harnesses one by one. But here's what I've learned over the years: don't replace the board until you've ruled out everything else. I've seen people spend $300 on a new control board when the real problem was a $20 door latch. The water inlet valve is the least common cause, but it does happen. This is the solenoid valve that lets water into the machine. When it fails, the cycle starts, you hear the drain pump run, but no water comes in. Eventually, you'll get a 4C or 4E error code. The valve can fail from hard water buildup, solenoid burnout, or even freezing if your dishwasher is in a cold area. With a multimeter, you can test the solenoid coils. They should show some resistance, not infinite. If it's open circuit, the valve's shot. These run about 40 to $100 depending on your model. If you're comfortable with hose clamps and plumbing connections, it's not too bad to replace. The door latch assembly is your safety interlock. It keeps the door sealed and tells the control board it's safe to run. When this thing goes bad, you get that annoying beep when you try to start, but nothing happens. The part itself runs about 60 to $80, and it's not too bad to replace if you can handle removing the inner door panel. Just don't force it if the door isn't latching properly. You'll break those plastic prongs and make the problem worse. The main control board is the expensive one, 150 to 250 depending on your model. This is what manages all the timing, sends power to the motors and valves, and processes all the sensor inputs. Most of the time, when this fails, you'll know it. Either the unit's completely dead or it's doing weird stuff like filling but not washing. The good news is these are usually plug and play replacements. The touchpad assembly runs about 100 to 160. This is what fails when you get unresponsive buttons or random beeping. Steam and moisture are the usual culprits here. If you're comfortable with adhesive components and ribbon cables, it's doable as a DIY job. Just take your time and make sure everything's completely dry before installing the new one. Here's the cheapest fix. The leak sensor itself is only about $50 if it actually needs replacing. But most of the time you can fix an LC or LE error for free just by drying out the base pan. Sometimes a little condensation or suds from the wrong detergent is all it takes to trigger this thing. If you've identified a part failure, here's your cost breakdown and decision guide. Parts range from $50 to $250, but professional labor adds another $150 to $300. Here's my rule: if your dishwasher is under 5 years old and the repair costs less than half the replacement price, it's worth fixing. DIY these repairs if you're comfortable with basic tools. You'll save 60 to 70% on total costs. Now, before we wrap up, you can see right there on your screen the models most commonly affected by these issues. The WaterWall series has those sensitive leak sensors I mentioned. Top control models are prone to moisture getting into the control panel, and pretty much all Samsung dishwashers can have door latch problems as they age. If you see your model up there, pay extra attention to those specific failure patterns. That's your complete troubleshooting roadmap for Samsung dishwashers that won't start. Work through these solutions in order: control lock reset, door latch check, touchpad issues, leak sensor, and finally the control board. Budget 15 minutes for the first three fixes, which solve about 80% of these problems. I've put a printable checklist in the description so you can work through each step systematically. Remember, don't slam the door if it won't latch, and never use regular dish soap. Both of those will create bigger problems. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your Samsung dishwasher working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.